legitimized as being unapologetically African. She refused to conform at a time when everyone was being told to say things a certain way and sound a certain way and look a certain way. Paved the way for so many people in the industry, not just women, but men as well. She's one of the strongest voices we have in the country, one of the most respected personalities as well. Ladies and gentlemen, for the keynote address, Caroline Mutoko.
Good evening. Janet did say she's my friend too. Friends, colleagues, distinguished guests, good Africans. Good evening. When Adele asked me to speak, incidentally, if I was clever, I would have had my notes on a phone like Janet. And then when I walked in, I saw Adele. Wait until you see Adele. She's got pretty eyes, and then I asked for my eyes to be made pretty. And now I don't want to wear my specs, so I'm going to squint through my remarks. So, I am an apologetically African, and I will actually explain that. I'm the girl, the woman who stands at international forums, whether that will be the United Nations Global Compact, One World. I speak at very many places, and obviously, and we probably know this, when everything is said and done, they come up to you and say, that was wonderful. Where did you go to school? And then you say, Kenya. They say, oh, but where did you go to college? And you say, Kenya. And you can tell that apparently you can't be African and sound eloquent. And sometimes you look at them and you're like, maybe I shouldn't because I only have a visa for so long. But yes, I speak English with a bit of a mix of a British and Irish accent, and so does Adele. And it has a lot to do with the Africans we are. It has to do with our colonialism. And you would be strangely African if you can say, I'm African, I'm proudly so. I'm unapologetically African, and then not acknowledge that we have a colonial history, and it becomes part and parcel of who we are. So yes, I speak English, strangely. I also speak 4 languages, so Melania Trump has nothing on most of us in this room. I speak Swahili, I speak Kamba, sometimes it sounds like German, don't worry. I speak English, I speak French. My Kamba isn't great, but I get by, unapologetically. Being African is not a color. As Nelly from Pauline Cosmetics will tell you, we have 43 shades. Nelly, I'm squinting, where are you? How many shades are we? About 48? Shades of African? Shades of African.
I want to say maybe about 30 shades of black.
There's 30 shades of black. So it has nothing to do with color to be an African. A language, a cuisine, an item of clothing, in spite of the fact that I came unapologetically African, it's a state of mind and a state of being. And the reason I say it's a state of mind is that we're Africans. We actually go to school for our parents. That's how we roll. We get our first degree and then we tell mom, Kiniako, and then we run away. We are Africans. We're strange like that. We tell silly stories to our children about how our lives were tough. We're Africans. We eat our wildlife and dogs are not allowed in the house and we can't be loved. We're Africans. And we need to learn to be unapologetic about the fact that that's how we are. We're Africans. We believe in spirits and ghosts and witchcraft. We are different, and that does not make us wrong. We're different. We're not like the Indians, we're not like the Chinese, we're not like the Americans, but being different doesn't make us wrong. And sometimes what we do is that we want to conform so badly that everything that is our Africanness is something we constantly apologize for. So by all means, go and see your Isangoma before you date him, all right? If that's what works for you. So what does it mean to be an African? I think, Adele, you'll have to forgive me, I want to give a challenge to the room. Kwame Nkrumah and Kwesi Wamwere and Ngugi wa Thiong'o and all those gentlemen defined Africa their way. It was their time. Something true and real was happening, and they had a philosophy and a psychology about it, and they used that to create their Pan-African movement. Your Pan-African movement is not going to look like theirs, and you shouldn't apologize for it, because your narrative is not theirs. I'll tell you what our narrative looks like. It looks like Chimamanda. Chimamanda, who has refused to have an English name at all, and she has forced the entire Western world to learn how to say her name. We are going to look like Trevor Noah. He can sit on a big Western stage and still make fun of Western leaders because they actually remind us of a few African despots. Our narrative is not going to look like the one of Ngugi wa Thiong'o. It's not going to look like the one of Mzee Jomo Kenyatta. Our narrative of Africa is going to be very colorful, very exciting, very different. But it's also said that if you are born in Africa, you're an African. Because from the moment you're born in Africa, Africa is also born in you. And I don't know whether you've ever heard that. Which means it continues to live in you and grow in you. And we go a little wrong when we see people like Jason Dunford and he says he's a Kenyan and African, we're like, but you're the wrong color. That doesn't work. If you're born in Africa, Africa is born in you. If you live in Africa, you experience Africa, you go to school in Africa, you hang around Africans, chances are we'll make you an honorary African. So we have different birth customs, we have different marriage customs, we have different naming customs, we have different hair, different food, we're different. It doesn't mean we are wrong. And I think sometimes when we apologize, when you don't learn to be unapologetic, chances are we look at our naming ceremonies, we're like, it's not cool because it's African. And then we look at our food and it's not cool because it's African. The fact that we're different does not make us wrong. You must remember that our feminism will never look like theirs. In fact, in a conversation with the former president of Malawi, Dr. Joyce Banda, she told me, you do realize the way the West has defined feminism has not worked for them. Because Africa has had 4 female presidents, these guys, and especially the Americans, are yet to have one. So maybe their narrative doesn't work, and maybe we will write the one for ourselves. But being unapologetically African is being able to say, we don't agree with your way. Not anymore. Our style, our fashion, our music, our instruments, our movement, our measurements. Our women have large busts and even larger behinds, and it's okay. And it's okay, because that's who we are. Our Africanness does not need to be validated. Half the time we're looking for someone to say, it's okay to be African. It doesn't have to be. We are Disco Matanga. We have a funeral and then boom. That's us. Okay, and it's all right. We see Mutura as a treat and we go looking for it. We do Christmas in one day. Moranga and Nyeri are you here? They will leave at 9 a.m. and they'll be back at 4 because they don't understand why anybody would stay in shirts. And that's how we are. But we are also the people who leave Christmas and we go with all our furniture to wherever we came from to come back with it. We are strange, we're different, we're peculiar, but that does not make us wrong. We're unapologetically African. And you must remember there are things about us and the way we work that will not be able to work anywhere else because they were created for us and by us. Things like M-Pesa. Do you know how hard it is to export M-Pesa? Because it was created for us, by us. So some things will never translate in the rest of the world and it's okay. Can we just be unapologetically happy that it's all about us? We are the people of Okwa Jahazi. I don't believe that thing will ever work anywhere else. You do what? And then what happens? And when you top up your phone, what happens again? But you know what? Tell people about it. Over drinks and be unapologetically African about it. I am African. I have access to Gucci and Prada and Samsung, and I'm proudly unapologetically so. Being African doesn't mean I can't embrace everything else the world has to offer. It doesn't. I can be all that and a bit more. But I also wanted to say, Africa is a word. It's a way of life, it's a lifestyle, it's also an idea and an ideal. So long as in your head, you've already defined what that means, it's fine. I'm not going to talk about the fact that, you know, a lot of us say, but if you're from Egypt, are you really an African? They are Africans. Not just because they're on the continent, but because they are different. I wanted to say one final thing. I'm jumping over what Ali Mazrui said because I don't believe he is part of this conversation. I'll say again what I said earlier. How we define Africa, starting today and going forward. My daughter is 8. My son is 11 months. Yes, Janet, sorry. I know. Sorry. But Adelle knew. She didn't tell you? Okay, so that's how I threw you. I threw Adelle under the bus like that. I keep wondering how they will define African. Because I have seen what school looks like. My daughter goes to Janet Boga's old school. There's 17 in her class, 7 are Kenyans. The rest are Cameroonians, Ghanaians, Nigerians, Egyptians, Nigerians. Yeah. So her life doesn't look anything like mine. Her friends have names I can't pronounce because if you know our West African brothers and sisters, they don't do Christianity well. So, to be an African today means you probably will have forgotten your past or you're ignorant about it. It's okay. Elders will try to explain to you that your future is tied to your past and that's all right. Then there's this thing where you have a choice between rejecting your tradition and flowing with the popular culture and still being judged by outsiders based on a background you either know nothing about or you never had a chance to learn about. Please don't struggle to let go of your past, and please don't struggle to embrace the modern and then feel like a sellout. You can have both. And I think for me, being unapologetically African is just that. The fact that you can be steeped in our history and our culture and still be rocking your Louis Vuitton. It's okay. So I believe that you can have both. You can be an Ugali eating, mutura seeking, jollof rice loving. I'm looking over there because I think I see West Africans. You can be a benga dancing, disco matanga attending. You can be a Muranga one day traveling, Gucci wearing, MAC lipstick flossing, selfie taking, white sipping, African, unapologetically African. Thank you.